Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this edition to Turnaround Marriage. We're so excited to drop in for a few moments, and we want to talk about minding your mind now more than ever with the challenging season, both in 2020 and now in 2021. All kinds of unprecedented things going on in our world, and now more than ever, with everything going on, do we need to be minding what we're thinking about, minding our minds? And if you are alive, and if in any way you've been caught up with any type of anxiety or you've been thinking about a lot of things, a lot's been on your mind, this is exactly for you.
Yes. Hey, everybody. We are Scott and Rachel. We do help Christian couples get a quick turnaround in their marriage by helping them overcome cycles of conflict, negativity, and disconnection, and reclaiming the love, passion, and playfulness that they once had. And we actually just got back from celebrating our silver anniversary.
25 years.
Last week.
We're so excited.
So we have and also our birthdays, so we celebrate a lot in a week. But
we don't have to tell the number of that though.
No, we won't. Yeah. We won't tell that. But, and in the midst of celebration, in the midst of excitement and a new year rolling in, and then we see just enormous challenges and enormous levels of anxiety, fear. There's just so much going on in the world, especially here in the U.S. And we're not going to get political tonight. We don't know where you stand on any one of the sides, but we do know that most people right now are anxious. Most people are living in fear. They're worried. And the stress that's happening in the world is only going to escalate the stress that might be happening at home in your marriage. And so if you are wondering, how do I navigate all this stuff? We want you to stay tuned, and we want to give you guys some tools.
Yeah. And let's talk about what it feels like for just a moment when a lot of the gravity of things going on in the world, and it doesn't necessarily have to be happening in world events. It could be in your own home. It could be things going on with your children or whatever it would be. And it can sometimes literally feel like, at least for me, when I get into, for me, it's like a whole bunch of things going through my mind at once, a lot of emotions, and I'm not really sure what emotions there are, and I can't really identify them. And then I find myself, when I'm really getting anxious, I'm not even breathing properly. Like I'm hunching over a bit, and I'm shallow breathing, and like that in itself is making me anxious, right? And so, I don't know about for you, doesn't it feel that way?
Yeah, sure. I mean, our physiology definitely affects, our feelings affect our physiology, and then our physiology goes back and affects our feelings. And so much of it comes down to, what are we thinking about? What are we focusing our mind on? And so in the world today, with the uncertainty and the chaos and lawlessness, it seems that it could be very, very possible that you could be really struggling to keep your mind on the things of the Lord, and on what's possible, and on what's good and true and noble and pure and lovely and of good report, right? And it could be so easy to succumb to fear and worry and fretting and even spiraling into like resentment and contempt and disconnection, and just maybe a short fuse at home. And so, if the stress in the world is affecting your marriage, we just want to give you guys some encouragement and some hope that it is possible to mind your mind. It is possible to gain skills and tools to learn how to get out of the funk when you're really in it. And so much of it, we want to just encourage you, like, it's important to be informed and know where you're getting your news from, but it's also important to not have that on 24/7, right? That is,
I don't think we were designed to take information flow all the time, and so I just want to kind of describe, Rachel, what I see a lot, and even before some of the events in the last few days, what I see with a lot of people. And when I'm talking to folks, a lot of times what we see is that they sometimes the best way I could describe it is they're a ball of emotion. Like, it could be anger, frustration, loneliness, fear. Especially fear is a huge part of it. It could be fear about, like, their husband or wife is not going to be there for them, fear that the marriage is going to fail. It could be fear about your children. It could be fear of what's happening in the world. And if you have undealt with emotions that are in this ball, the ball gets bigger. And especially if you mix in with it the stuff going on in, like, Washington, D.C. the last few days, it can just exponentially get bigger to the point where you don't even know what to do with it. And you're like looking for the drink. You're looking for, maybe there's healthy things like going for a jog or something. That would be a great thing. But that's when people start turning to scrolling on Facebook. That's when people start turning to drugs and other things to get some relief, get some release. But does that work?
Well, no, it's usually a temporary relief, but then it usually escalates the problem because it only masks it for a little time, and then you develop another problem. Whether it's maybe you might be overspending or overeating or undereating or going crazy with your health or not paying attention to your health at all. And so no matter what is going on, like if that's affecting you, you're going to be paying a price.
Absolutely.
Whether it's in your mental health, your physical health, or just your emotional, home. And so yeah, we want to just encourage you that these times, now more than ever, it is time to mind our mind. It is time to pay attention to the things we're thinking about. It is time to pay attention to the things that we roll through our head over and over again all day long.
And if I could add, Rachel, you're so spot on with that. What I see is when we have those undealt with things, a lot of time what happens with them is not only the undealt with emotions, but then there's storylines that start being played into them. So, for example, I'm not saying people are actually feeling this way, and I'm not trying to be political, but you could be looking at the world events and saying, oh my goodness, the world's coming to an end. Oh my goodness, my husband isn't even here to support me in this. He's just distant watching the news, and he's not invested in with me. And my kids, what's going to happen to them? Oh my goodness, like with Corona going on. Oh, like you can see where all these are piling up. And then what could be based on some truth, you've escalated and elevated into be all these storylines about my husband isn't there for me. The kids aren't there. I'm going insane. I can't handle this. And it's like, it's piled up. And when that gets piled up, it's even worse. So my point is, it's not just the emotion, it's all the storylines piled up on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's the tapes that you're running in your head all day long. Like who's the biggest influence on you? Who speaks the most to you? It's you. It's the things you're saying to yourself. It's the things, or it's whatever maybe you're allowing the enemy to say. And so, well, first of all, we just want to encourage you. God is seated firmly on his throne, and he has put us in this time for such a time as this, right? And so we're here for a purpose. All of us, you are here for a purpose. God has put you right here, right where you are for a purpose. Maybe that purpose is to love your spouse in the midst of the crazy. Maybe that is to take a stand or whatever it is. But just know that the world's not coming to an end yet. Jesus is still seated firmly on his throne, and he has given us so much peace in his word and tools that we can use to get out of the funk. So we just want to encourage you in that, and let you know we've put together a masterclass for people just like you who maybe your marriage is really struggling, maybe you've had the breach of infidelity, or maybe you just cannot get along, or there's just been this distance and this just boring, like, oh, is this all we're going to do is just pick out our Netflix on Friday night? And so if that's you, we've created a masterclass for you, 5 shifts that Christian couples can make to get a quick turnaround in their marriage, to get that love and passion and playfulness back and get back on the same team. Yeah, so,
absolutely. And one of those things that we talk about in there is rewiring your mind.
Yeah.
And it is possible. I used to be one of the most melancholic, down, depressed guys, and I could still go there if I let myself, but I'm having a lot of victory in the Lord, and you can learn that too. And that's one of the things we talk about, that. And it is so important, because even with the craziness, just yesterday, for example, I'd watched too much news and I was lashing out at the kids, and I was like, why am I lashing out at them? They didn't really do that much.
Yeah.
Like they just spoke out of turn. And it was like, wait a minute, that I don't have to go down that path. That's just not the storyline I'm weaving for my family. And I just took a step back, got by myself. You took care of the kids for a few minutes, and I just got in a place where I was much, much better. And sometimes that's what it takes, just taking a step out of it. But you can get right back on track. That's the beauty of it. When you start learning some of these tools to getting out of those ruts of negativity, of being stuck in all kinds of emotion. And then emotion is great. Emotion's from the Lord, but you can learn to unpack it and deal with it case by case so that it doesn't become this overwhelming flood. So that's why we want you to check out our masterclass, guys. Dive into that. There's some great shifts there, and especially that one about rewiring your mind. We'd love to hear some feedback from you. But more than that, if you're able to get through that and you realize, or not if you're able, when you're able to get through that and you realize, wow, I could really use some help to show up to my marriage better that way. we want you to reach out and get in touch with us. So we wish the Lord's blessings upon you. This is the day the Lord has made. This is the year the Lord has made.
Yes.
Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Yes, absolutely. We'll post that link below,
I'm
and
going to send it right now live.
yeah, and we do want you to check it out. And just remember, pray for our country and mind your mind. Pay attention to the thoughts and the things that you're telling yourself and the tapes you're playing over and over in your head. And if Eeyore over here can learn to rewire his mind, anyone can.
If I was Eeyore before, what am I now?
Well, I can't say what you are now. You're awesome, but we can't give your secret name away.
Oh, I didn't know I had one. You'll have to tell me later.
Yeah. Anyway, we love you guys. We're
Much
here
love.
for you, and keep your mind focused on the goodness of God. And
Amen.
if you need help, please reach out. We're here for you.
God bless.
Have a good one.
Bye.